future Sunshine Forums, we do expect the county commissioners to be there. I'm working with them. And so this is the point where that we would have our elected officials to stand up and speak, but unfortunately, they decided they didn't want to come tonight. So as we've said in the paper, and as we have mentioned that we have invited everyone who is announced candidate for county commissioner. We've invited them to come and speak, and to my knowledge, there is only one at this point. And I'd like to this time introduce my friend, Mr. Jim Boyer here, who is announced candidate for county commissioner. Welcome, Jim.
Good evening, and thanks to everybody that's here. I appreciate your interest in what's going on. I live in Port Ludlow, been in Washington for 6 years. I'm a member of the Port Ludlow Village Council, and for the last year I've been the president of the Ludlow Maintenance Commission, our homeowners association on the north side of that bay. Over the last year, probably a year and a half, some of our residents have been coming to us and coming to our meetings asking us about this process that you're hearing tonight. So I started digging into it and got myself a copy of this draft plan.
I've heard my voice carries, so because I want to thumb through this, I'll put the microphone down. If anybody doesn't hear me, just go ahead and scream. This draft that I've been reading through and trying to learn, understand it cost us about $350,000. It's a boilerplate of what all the other counties are going to be dealing with in Washington State. As you heard, the Department of Ecology came to Jefferson County with $670,000 to start putting this process together. I got a feeling that's because Jefferson County is small, easy to deal with, and easy to roll over, and they're going to set a precedent here that'll set a precedent in all the other counties in the state. This plan starts out with 47 pages, I believe, of definitions. If you know what levy means, it's in here. If you don't know what setback means, it's in here. And it goes back through rules and regulations and things you can and can't do, and whys and what ifs and what fors and where nots. And in the end, finally, there's a few maps that show all the planned buffers that they're going to use to restrict property owners' usage of their property. In this process, it doesn't say why this has to happen. They need setbacks because something might happen someday. Yeah, you know, you shouldn't probably build a house here because a plane might fall on it someday too. Maybe we should have an air setback. But there's no reasoning in here to cause all of this. There's just the assumption that things are getting worse and worse and worse, and therefore, right now it's time for a 7-year assessment of the plan that we have. So we'll increase the buffers, we'll take more land, and we'll restrict more use without a real basis for doing it. So I have two issues that became a concern to me on the behalf of the people that I represent in Port Ludlow. Of course, protecting our shorelines is a big one. And of course, for everybody that owns property, protecting our property values is a big one. And extending off of that is our economic sustainability as a county here. I'm sorry Jack Westerman wasn't able to be here tonight, but I've spoken with him several times. One of the things that's going to happen, eventually, some property values are going to be influenced and some property values are going to change. A lot of people feel that it doesn't pertain to me because I don't live by the water. I don't live on a shoreline and it doesn't matter. Well, that's not correct. We're dealing with about 6,000 properties along the 118 miles of shorelines, waterfronts, streamfronts, and lakefronts in the county. Some of those properties will be restricted in their use, therefore, they won't be worth what they are today. Some of those properties will be declared non-conforming, which means those houses are in a buffer zone, or the prime property, the prime place for building on those properties will be in a buffer zone, therefore restricting the views, the usage of the land, or the size of the parcel that can be developed. The prices, the value of those properties will be reduced. The county's need for money to support our services, our schools, and our infrastructure doesn't change. So when property values are reduced in one place, they go up for everyone else. And we're told